Good evening. If you are joining us live for this episode of More Than Just Task Management, your favorite podcast that helps you build a thriving business with me, Anna Angelova, a business coach and consultant, and my co-host, Jores Minnesvand. Good evening, Jores. As promised, we're here with a glass of wine for our book
Good,
club episode.
good evening, Anna. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a very interesting, very informative session. I look forward to it. And yeah, we may be late, but we're always here. Life happens. We're normal people. We're not Instagram superheroes. So we work around our life and stuff that happens during our day. So here we are, a little bit late in the evening, but here we are nonetheless. And I can't wait for this session. This is going to be, let's keep it under 2 hours, Anna.
2 hours, our dinner is
Oh, yeah, our dinner is going to burn
yeah,
out. Yes.
waiting for
Okay, two
us.
minutes. Two
So
minutes. That's
two
it.
minutes. No, we still have a little
No.
bit of time. So
Okay.
as promised, and if you are a regular listener, you know that this week we are focusing on leadership. And as promised, today we will be talking about Everybody Matters. So it's a book by Bob Chapman, and it really touched us. And the whole thing started with you, Joris, attending a manufacturing event, I think, in
SFMA, yeah.
Florida.
South
Yes.
Florida Manufacturing Association event. Yes. 2 day event in um, Fort Lauderdale. And
And
I
I think
actually
the
heard
book was
him.
a
He was one of the hosts. He was there. I saw him. He spoke.
and the book was a gift, right?
Yes. Everybody got a copy. Yes.
Yeah.
uh, every audience got a copy. And when I brought it back, you being a bookworm, we read it and it changed our view, our life, everything, the way we look at everything. It's so informative, it's so transformational. And one of the things that I really saddens me, this is 2025. And this concept, everybody matters, it's very rare. It's very rare. I know, like Bob Chapman did it in his company. He's the third generation running his company, Waymiller, uh, and it came from his grandfather, and he almost in his father's time, it almost went bankrupt, and he took over and he turned it into what it is today, and how they transform people's lives. I mean, forget about my examples and my stuff that I've done. It just, these guys have done it at scale, where they walked into a company that was about to lose everything, like go bankrupt. Everybody would go lose their houses, their livelihoods. They turned it around, and by Christmas, everybody had a Christmas party. They came to a Christmas party with their families, and they were just they literally became owners of the company. The way Bob Chapman turned those companies, and I think we'll talk about that. What they do is the way Miller, they go out and buy small companies and they bring them into make them part of their lives, their culture. They take their service or whatever technology or engineering that they're doing, make it part of their family. So, anyways, but it was transformational. I mean, what I got out of that whole SFMA was just this book. It was enough.
And I remember, I don't remember the exact stats, but you were saying he presented some statistics, and it's staggering how many people, because of the fact that they're stressed at work, how it translates to billions of dollars on healthcare, and how they basically, in terms of productivity and output, when you're stressed at work, when the environment is not good, people take more time off, right?
It takes a
Sick
toll
days.
on our healthcare system.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so unbelievable. It
And
absolutely. People who are sick, they take that sickness, they stress their family, their families get sick, their parents, their siblings, their neighbors. It's just a ripple effect. But the opposite, the positive side of it is also has a positive ripple effect.
and this is an example of a positive ripple effect, how you can create this. And the book shares what the company was like before, right? And Bob
Yeah.
Chapman, he himself, he went through a little bit of transformation, and they were not doing these kind of things all the time, right? And if you think about it, it's a not a new company, right? Like you said, I think he
No.
is
In the
third
1800,
generation, or
third
yeah.
generation, yes, yes.
So a lot of things were with the times, right? And if we go back to the beginning of 20th centuries, it was the different time, and the idea of the leadership that we have right now back then would have probably been laughable, and no one would have even tried it. But as things evolved, and this is one of the lessons, right? Evolving with the times, evolving with how society changes, and especially you might be actually running a company that is a second, third generation company in your family, right? And unless your company evolves with the times and with changes in society, chances are you will be in trouble. Chances are that you are in trouble if you are sticking to leadership and management practices from the 20th century, the top-down management and all
From
these
the
things.
60s and the 70s, fear mongering. Oh, name drop a CEO. The CEO wants this in an hour. Stop doing whatever you're doing. I want it right now.
Yeah.
It's like, what? If you and the CEO were really organized, we wouldn't be here. You would give us enough time to do things the right way. It's just such a different mentality that anyways yeah, let's talk more about the book and the chapters. I think you picked a chapter to read, or excerpts to read from the book. I would love to hear some of the stuff that they've done, but what they have actually, everybody matters, is not something that you put on a wall that everybody walks by and see. It has to be integrated into the systems that you design, in all of your communication practices, in all of the decision-making processes. And example after example, at Barry Wehmiller, Bob Chapman talks about this, how they did it, how they implemented it, and how successful it was. So I'll give this back to you, Anna. Let's dive in and tell our listeners some examples.
Well, examples, I wanted to share like that statistics we were talking about, right?
Mhm.
So the
I
healthcare
wish I'd
crisis is a
received
caring
those.
crisis, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
did
Yep.
you know that the rate of heart attacks goes up 20% on Monday mornings? This is
Mhm.
sad, and starting reality has been confirmed by studies in multiple countries. In fact, heart attacks are only one of several stress-related responses to work. Here is a sad irony of our age.
Mhm.
While fewer of us are killed or are subjected to violence of any kind than at any time in history, more human lives are being stressed and shortened due to work than ever before. Our work is literally killing us. Rising healthcare costs are a crisis in many countries. The causal chain leading up to that crisis is increasingly clear. The number one factor in rising healthcare costs is the rise in chronic diseases, which account for 75% of healthcare costs in US. So
Wow.
it's so interesting. And
It is.
ultimately, one of the key things that, again, the story starts with the way the company was working and how they were managing based on 20th century views, and how they figured out that, okay, something needs to change, right? And they changed it. And
Mhm.
one of the keys, so in addition to the fact that change with the times, adapt, we know this from, is it biology?
Mhm.
Natural science and all these kind of things,
Biology.
right? That it's not the strongest that survives, it's the one that adapts, right?
The
The
fit.
one
Yeah.
that the fittest.
Um,
So they change things, and the key thing is that they changed it in a way that it was not, like I said, it was not just something nicely written in a document somewhere, or in someone's office, and that's it. What they did at the Barry Wehmiller, they changed the way they work. So it was not just documents and just slogans out there. They really designed systems, communication practices, and decision-making processes that aligned with that new leadership philosophy. And as you said, what they do, one of the things they do is they go to struggling companies, like manufacturing companies, and they
mhm.
buy these companies and turn them around. And of course, one thing that happens is as they buy these companies, what happens is that people in these companies are naturally skeptic. It's like, oh yeah, we've heard this before. You care about us, yeah, blah blah blah, right? Like all managers say this, so they're naturally skeptic. They're naturally um, distrusting, thinking that, oh, they'll come up here and they'll change everything top down, and we won't even have a voice, nothing. However, because of their, again, mindset, their philosophy, right? Jim Rohn talks about personal philosophy, their company philosophy, leadership philosophy, they really walk the talk. They really listen. They really make changes. And one of the examples was with a machine that they actually, the people on the floor, on the manufacturing floor, right?
Yep.
They were tasked to choose a machine, and they did it. They researched, they tested, and they did it. And it was, I think what they were saying was that it was one of the most expensive purchases they've made.
Yeah. And it
And
was the right one.
yeah,
They made
yeah.
it the right one. Yeah.
And the way it translates is like people initially who were skeptics, they turn around. They see that, oh, wait a minute. This is not just something that's in a document somewhere. They're just not just saying this. It's actually really happening. They're actually listening to us. Mm, all these things they're saying about human-centered, about everybody matters, it really is. And they start shifting their own mindset, their own mentality, where how can we help, taking accountability and responsibility, taking ownership, being happy that it's Monday, right? And in some of those towns and cities where they have the factories, the manufacturing in US, for example, I think they were talking about some close to Green Bay, right?
Yeah.
They were talking about close to Green Bay. The whole community depended on that factory, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the way it changes, the way their employees feel great at work and they go home and they're happy at home, and this impacts their family. Their family is happy, their community is happy. It's just like you're saying, the ripple effect of treating human beings like human beings and empowering them, trusting them. It's unbelievable. I highly recommend. I know that this book is not something that a lot of people talk about. I know it's not
Not very well known.
a
It should
popular.
be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
It should
the,
be. And the beauty of it is the systems that they have, the mentality, the culture. It's not just for companies, billion-dollar companies like Barry Wehmiller. It can be applied to a company of 5 people. It's just that it has to be designed the right way, and it has to be really, really implemented. Trust, like you said, create trust, create listening sessions. Don't have meetings for you to sit down and say, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, we're going to do this way, this my way or the highway. No, create meetings as listening sessions where people talk, people come and share their ideas. And absolutely, I mean, if and nothing else, any small to medium business owner should read this book. I don't know why it's so not as prevalent as popular as it is. I don't know.
well, we're making it popular now. But the thing is that in some aspects, we are actually more fortunate as a small, mid-sized businesses because it's easier to create that kind of culture when you have 5 people than when you have 5,000. And
Yeah.
the book actually, he talks about how they did things. He talks about the systems they implemented, the leadership documents they created, and things like this. So it's actually a good guide as well, right? When you read it, like, you can see what steps you can take. And again, one thing is, we've been talking about leadership, and Everybody Matters shows how important culture is. Now, the subtitle is, what is it? The Extraordinary Power of Caring for Your People Like Family. Now, this is probably a topic for another day. While treating people and caring for them, treating people the right way and caring for them is, yes, absolutely. Treating like family, though, is a little bit of a different, I wouldn't say agree with that subtitle exactly, because the things we do for family, doing the same things for business, that's why a lot of people, and I highly recommend this as well, like, is to not work with your family. Like, don't just hire someone because they're your brother or your sister or your kid or something like this. Because if they don't have the required knowledge, skills, and attitude, yeah. So anyway, it's really important. Like, as a small business, we actually have more power in creating that kind of culture because there are fewer people. There are fewer people, and we can really listen, and we can really engage people, and we can really create an environment where there is ownership. So important. Ownership is so important, and helping people feel like they matter, like they create value. And again, in a smaller environment, it's so much easier. It's so much easier to provide that feedback, to provide that care when you have a team of 5 than when you have 5,000. And one thing that, again, echoed in the book, one of the examples was like 2 years. I think with one of the skeptical people, like, it took him 2 years to turn around. Now, in a small business where you have 5 people, if you have a grumpy goose, like, chances are that you're not able to sustain something like this for 2 years and wait for this person to turn around for 2 years, right? That's why we were talking in some of the previous episodes, we were talking about recruiting, right? How important it is to get the right people. And definitely so much to get out of this book in terms of caring, like, really. And again, some people are saying, oh, your employees come first. Other people are saying your customers come first. Like, our framework, and when we work with clients, it's a harmony that we create, right? Between profitability, employees, customers, and the impact your business makes. And this is the beauty, that by you focusing on really caring about your employees, creating an environment where they're empowered and they can really show up in their best light, everything else falls into place. Your profitability, your customer satisfaction, and the impact your business creates. So a lot of things. And again, as a small business, it's so much easier. As a mid-sized business, it's so much easier to do this. And thinking about some of the things that you can do, right? That a company that has 5,000 employees, the owner can't do this, but if you have 5 employees, personal check-ins, ask people deeper questions, not just about work, but even in their personal life, what's going on, right? Personal check-ins, shared wins. This is another big thing. We forget to celebrate our wins. We're so focused on move, progress, especially here in North America, right? And that's okay. Let's focus on the progress, but why not share the wins? Why not share the wow moments? Every week, at the end of the week, take some time to recognize the effort your team is making publicly. Recognize someone on your team for how they showed up. Like, those qualities you really want to instill in the culture. And of course, one of the things that they're saying, especially us as leaders, that listening is an essential skill, right? So, and listening is not just what people are saying, also what they're not saying, right? Because a lot of times we say more with our facial expressions, with our body language, than, and even the tone, right? Even the tone of voice and these things, than the words themselves. So active listening, and as I was saying, create ownership. We were talking, was it yesterday? Yeah, for new team members, right? We were talking how you start with giving people a little bit of control, and then you can expand it, give them the key to that cupboard with the software CDs, right? So All these
Yeah.
things play a part, and it all starts by seeing people, your team, your employees as whole human beings and leading them. You show up as a whole human being with your mind, your heart, and your intuition, and you lead people like this. And everyone matters. Everyone matters, and this is so, so, so true. And if you haven't read the book, highly recommend it. Grab a copy and let us know what you think about it.
You mentioned contribution. I remember one of the examples was they not only there's a lot of places, especially fast food places, employee of the month, your picture goes on the wall. The boohoo. I think what they implemented was that the company had a Cadillac, and the employee of the month, either for the whole month or I think they did it for a week, so everybody gets a turn, would drive that Cadillac. And interestingly, a couple of years ago, I went to a manufacturing place in North Carolina, about an hour north of Charlotte, and they had implemented that. We pulled into the visitors parking, and there was a spot literally next to the handicap, like second from the handicap, there was a spot. It said Employee of the Week, and there was a 5 Series BMW there. And I asked them, I said, did you guys do this from the Barry Wehmiller book? And actually, one of the directors had read the book that implemented it. So it's more widespread south of the border. I've seen more of the implementations, but absolutely, this builds loyalty. It's not just a couple of words on in a good, nice frame on a wall. It builds employee loyalty. There's one thing is customer loyalty, but there's also employee loyalty. And this is something that no job description can replace. If you put it into your cultures and processes, it's invaluable.
And that's why I love this book, because it's very practical. It shows examples that were done. And I know like we've been talking a little bit over 20 minutes now. Just as we're wrapping things up, we mentioned this, I think, the other day when we started talking about the book. One of the examples where I remember in 2020 when it was like, oh, we are all in this together. But as usual, some people were more in this than others were, right? So with the example in the book, actually, I mentioned it. What they did is Bob Chapman himself, he cut his salary to zero. So the company can actually afford to keep as many people as possible
He didn't take any
while
bonus.
they were
Or
weathering the
something.
storm. Because he himself, with his net worth and everything, he doesn't need, right? He doesn't need the salary. So he cut everything. He cut it to zero. And this is really walking the talk, not just saying, oh, we're in this together. And the bonus of the CEO is $10 million. The fact that the company fired 20,000 people is a different question, right?
Yeah, but everybody matters.
Yeah.
You get fired so I can make my 10 million bonus.
Mhm.
Very typical.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So
It is, and as I said, great examples, because again, it's real story, real people, real humans, and that's why I recommend it for sure. Grab a copy. I don't know if it's available in local libraries, might be, and
is
see
it on
what you get out
Amazon?
of
We
it.
can put a link. Is it on?
Oh,
Maybe we
probably.
can put a link to Amazon in our podcast.
Probably. Yeah. So grab a copy, see what you get out of it, because again, culture and leadership are so important. And this is one of the great examples out there. This is one of the amazing examples of what it is like to show up as a full leader and lead people as whole people, like whole human beings, and really trust them and show them that they matter. And the thing is, like, it's so amazing when you show someone that you trust them, because genuinely most people are good people. We just want safety, we want security, we want to contribute, and in general most people are really good people.
Agreed.
So
Very
yeah.
well. Very nice session. I love it.
It is a great conversation. Like I said, we can talk about books for hours and hours, but I'm saying let's wrap it up for today. And tomorrow we will be wrapping up the week in a way. Well, we still have a conversation where we'll be focusing on how to lead beyond the business, right? In your family, your community, your legacy. And this one will be more, probably in less than 12 hours, actually. It's after 7 p.m., so we'll be live on the Plandor channel 7 a.m. And then the episode will be available shortly after that. But I'd say this is it for now. And grab the book. I'll add the link to the book as well. I've also added the link to the Energy Leadership Index assessment because it is one of the best tools out there that can help you see how you show up as a leader and help you build this kind of transformational culture where everybody matters. So grab the book, grab a copy of the ELI assessment. We are offering it complimentary for a few people every single month. And like everyone who takes it is like, wow, I wish I took it earlier, right? So don't hesitate. The link is there. And we'll be back tomorrow with another wonderful episode of Everybody, Not Everybody Matters. We can change the title if he hasn't.
More than just task management. Yeah, we should actually change that.
Anyway, thanks, Jores. I know, like time for dinner.